Goosens at the end of that first lap, and somebody already off. That's the festival over for him, and it's Goosens out in the front now from Ingall, and a gap back to a recovering Hughes, who made such a tremendous bid for the lead. But it's Ingall now mounting a challenge as they start the second lap. It's Ingall right in the slips. We see here now that it's and that's 30. That's Tommy Antolanum pitched high into the air, and the culprit just hitting the barrier was Stefan Nielsen, and William Thorburn there spinning in sympathy. So, the end of the festival for Antolanum, but Goosens out front. Hughes now has recovered. He's back on the gearbox of Ingall. And these four, Morelli's got round Hall. In fact, Valen in the background has also got round Hall. So, the front four pulling away. Hall being pushed back to 6th place. But it's Goosens, Ingall, Hughes and Morelli, the four out front. Really the four pre-race favourites. And here they are, starting the 4th lap of 20. Ingall goes out to the wide, cuts across to the inside. Goosens, though, counters that challenge. Ingall not able to get through. Hughes looks up the inside. Ingall has to come across, and Morelli now looking the long way in the outside. Hughes was chopped off by Ingall, and Morelli's making the most of that. He's going round the outside at Druids. Morelli tries to hold, and he does hold. So Hughes, again, having made a challenge on Ingall for 2nd place, suddenly finds himself in 4th place. So Hughes making the attempt, and Ingall having a look up the inside. Really not on at Surtees, but he's probably just trying to worry the leader, Goosens. But Goosens will be wary of that one. Keeps his head down. 2nd gear out of Clearways, up to 3rd quite quickly there. A long drag in 3rd gear, now snicking 4th gear as Ingall looks out of the slipstream along the outside again. Goosens holding that inside line up to Paddock Hill Bend. Morelli has a look up the inside of Ingall, but it's not to be. The four slot back into line as they go through Paddock Hill Bend, but again Ingall can look up the inside. Goosens must be driving with his eyes more on the mirrors than the road ahead of him as Hughes tries round the outside of Morelli. Warren wants that place back, but Morelli pushes him out wide onto the curbs, and Hughes has to give way again, and now he's got Vale Lane in his mirrors, and young Jamie Spence has come through to a tremendous 6th place behind these 5 out front. Gavin now behind Spence, so Spence must have got through. Gavin looks up the inside of Spence at Clearways, doesn't get through. The 2 English youngsters chasing the 5 favourites out front. Jamie Spence now tries to get into the slipstream of Valen, and this is too far away. And Ingall again mounting another challenge on Goosens as they go up to Paddock Hill Bend. On the outside, he's got to be wary of Dino Morelli right behind him. Morelli will nip inside if Ingall makes a mistake. Goosens blocks, Ingall moves one side and then the other to try and find a way through. Morelli has a feel of the outside line and loses the place to Hughes. Hughes now getting back at Morelli. Did he hold it? No. Morelli just held on around the outside, so Morelli looking to get by Ingall, nearly lost that place. Again Ingall looks. That's not on, as I've said at Surtees, but Russell Ingall feels it's worthwhile, I reckon, to try and rattle Goosens out front, try anything unusual in Formula Ford racing. That's the way to try and make a break, but now closer than ever in the slipstream. These cars can run so close together. Ingall pulls out quite early this time. Behind Hughes mounts a challenge to Morelli. These 4 almost in 2 rows of 2. Vale on his own almost behind. Down the dip. Ingall now on the inside. No, Goosens pulls across. Gavin out wide on the edge of the paddock. Again Morelli tries the outside charge on Ingall. Hughes again comes in. So surely Hughes has got 3rd place back off Morelli this time, or has he? No. Morelli holds on to 3rd place, so Hughes keeps on trying to snick back that place but doesn't get it. Valen now right on Hughes' gearbox. The front leader battle for 5 cars, and Spence not that far behind. Almost coming to a 8, 9, 10 car battle for the lead. Goosens with a pack in his slipstream. Ingall again edges out slowly from the slipstream, pulls to the left again, always trying to make Goosens break deeper and deeper into Paddock Hill Bend, trying to push him into a mistake, try to make him break just what 5 metres too late is all the difference means. But the queue now, nobody trying the outside line. Morelli's tried it twice, he doesn't want to risk it a 3rd time. He knows that Hughes is ready to pounce. Ingall meanwhile really not trying anything out of the ordinary this early on in the final. He's probably hoping for later that he does look again at Surtees. Behind the pack there's Spence hanging on incredibly well. Young 18-year-old Jamie Spence, and he's only been racing in this formula since July and doing a tremendous time. There's Frank Guibert, the French champion, up behind Hall, battling along behind Spence. Oh! And That's our friend William Thorburn again, this time all on his own. Another spin, but a tremendous time just to get into this grand final that's led so impressively by Goosens. Ingall, though, looking to mount to attack all the time. This time tries the outside, a variation. Morelli tries to get his nose cone up the inside of Ingall. These five now, a gap really back to here. Jamie Spence, who are with now, and these little 420 kilo Formula Ford chassis, they've got 110 horsepower. Oh, and pumped up into the air. That's all Moss Thorpe indeed. End of young Moss's festival. That wasn't his fault. The culprit, who I cannot see the number of, gets away with it. But here, Spence now really holding back this battle for fifth. Oliver Gavin in the slipstream of Spence. Oliver would love to get by young Jamie and go and try and chase the five at front. He's challenging on the outside. But they start the 11th lap. The front five are getting away, and Gavin knows that he wants to get by Jamie, but Jamie driving a race that really does belie his experience. Of course, it's a lot of kart racing, as all these young drivers have, and they know about racing. They know about positioning the car on the circuit to block the opponent behind. In fact, the only man not a karter out of these front 10 is Warren Hughes, who came straight into Formula Ford. So Jamie Spence, the gap to the front five ahead, opening up all the time, has this queue of cars behind him. Gavin Hall and Gavin trying this way and that. But all these cars, oh, there's a puff of smoke as Oliver Gavin's nose cone touches the back of Jamie Spence's rear wheels. So close are they running. Gavin again pulls out of the slipstream. That's Macaulay now. Andrew Macaulay, who's moved right up from the back of his heat, is ahead of Hall. Macaulay now challenges Gavin. Hall tries to get the place back off Macaulay. The leaders, though, still... Oh, nod on the head. Dino Morelli there. That was Warren Hughes planting his nose cone in the back of Morelli's gearbox under braking. You could see Morelli's head nod, but that's no way to get by Warren. Through Graham Hill Bend, Gavin chases Spence. Macaulay behind them. As I said, all these engines, 1600cc Ford engines, 110 horsepower bolted straight onto the chassis, which causes tremendous vibrations. But oh, and across the grass there, that's Johnny Hauser taking that short line and coming across right in front of Lemarie, the Frenchman. This time Ingall alongside, almost at Paddock Hill Bend. Morelli trying up the inside. Did Ingall make a mistake? No, he held onto the position and cuts across to the inside for Druids. This is so close racing. Five men, all equal to win this Formula Ford Festival. Vejalainen really the sensation. The front four more experienced than he is, and really young Tommy Vejalainen, the latest Finnish sensation, following in the footsteps of Leto and Häkkinen. But Jamie Spence, he'll probably be happy to finish sixth, really, for such a young driver, and he's going to defend this sixth place as if it was the lead of the race. Gavin, a slip of oversteer there that might give Macaulay the opportunity to get into the slipstream closer. You saw the opposite lot going on as Gavin corrected the car, but now Hughes mounts an attack on Morelli, going from the outside, cutting across to the inside. Morelli just chops the nose off. Hughes has a bit of a moment sorting all that out, and Vejalainen now much closer to Hughes. That's allowed Morelli to escape ever so. Gavin up the inside. This time he must be inside Spence. No! They made contact. That's Jamie Spence. He doesn't lift off an inch, even though he's been punted up into the air. He holds on to that sixth place. Here we can see Gavin right up the inside, and they interlock wheels, and there Spence pops over. Looks like Macaulay might get round in car with Gavin this time, and there's Spence's front wheel over the top. Neither of them lift off an inch, and they live to fight on. Goosens out front, Ingall as close as ever, Morelli right in the slipstream of the two leaders, and Warren Hughes still ready to recover from that moment he had trying to get by Morelli. The three tied together. Morelli now looks to the outside, a gap back to Spence and Vejalainen. Goosens, Ingall, Morelli, as close as that, the sparks as Morelli goes across the curb. Hughes defends from Vejalainen. Morelli tries the outside on Ingall. Could this be the time to move? He wants his right round the outside. He did it to Hughes, but no. Ingall counters that one. And that bit of overtaking manoeuvre has allowed Hughes and Vejalainen to catch up, and it's back to the famous five altogether. Ingall again looks inside at Surtees. His car gets out of shape as he does so. The five are close as ever. Morelli in, and Ingall spins. Ingall's out. Just trying to get the power on. He's on the grass. Will he get going as quick as possible? It looks like he might have stalled. Indeed, I think he's stalled the engine. He's getting it going again now. Well, Russell Ingall, the Australian's going to be very despondent at that. Spinning out at clearways. And here we see it again. Morelli very close indeed. I think, in fact, Morelli's actually pushing Ingall. There's the cause of the spin. Morelli's nose cone making contact with Ingall's gearbox, and that spins Ingall out. Just that touch on the rear shows how near the limit of adhesion they are. So the front people get spread out a bit. The battle now is very much for, that's now 5th place. In fact, Spence has moved up. So our battle for the cameras moves up to 5th place. And indeed, we see Macaulay did get around the outside of Gavin when these two boys touched. So Jamie Spence is now defending his 5th place against Andrew Macaulay, who came 3rd in the British Championship. There we see Macaulay, a very experienced driver from Northern Ireland, who was actually racing a Swift chassis, the same as Oliver Gavin's, but has moved to his brother's year-old Van Diemen for this Formula Ford final. So as they start their 18th frantic lap, the leaders are spread out up front. This really is the battle for 5th. Goosens is now clear of Morelli and a gap back to Hughes. So this really is the battle of the moment for 5th place. Spence holding on for all he's worth against Andrew Macaulay and Oliver Gavin. Down Graham into Graham Hill Bend. Macaulay, who's come up through the field, always worked so hard to get to this position. Really a tremendous drive by Macaulay, but even better drive by Jamie Spence. There you can see Vejalainen up in the distance in 4th place. And this is the battle for 5th. Gavin again wants to try and get backwards. He was leading his heat. He was right up the front in the quarter-final. He's made a couple of mistakes, but he's still made a tremendous impression on this Formula Ford final. Through Paddock Bend. Hall, there's Claudia Hurtgen, the German girl, coming up to challenge Chris Hall. So again, Claudia, in fact, is the leading runner of the foreign drivers, as it were, who haven't actually raced regularly over at Brands Hatch in the British Series. So Claudia leading all of the other Dutch, Danish and Finnish champions. And that's Morelli. Morelli slowing. And that's really a great shame for young Dino Morelli, the British junior champion, as the camera car battle scythed past him at 30s. Morelli slowed for some, obviously, mechanical reason. And the young British junior champion, really, who's done such a tremendous job. That's a great shame for him. And Jamie Spence now has on his hands a battle for 4th place. So tremendous, going on to his last lap. Jamie Spence 4th, Macaulay 5th, Oliver Gavin 6th. Gavin trying up the inside of Macaulay. One last move to try and get up a couple of places, even on the last lap. Up to Druids. Gavin really too far behind Macaulay. Macaulay not that close to Spence. I think this battle is resolved. There's not going to be any more moves, and Goosens now, with 2 corners to go, is well clear of this final. He must go on and win the festival final, surely. Indeed, on the 19th and penultimate lap, as no longer under pressure, he actually set a new lap record. Such is his domination of this final, and it is going to be a tremendous win for the young Belgian. The British champion in that Works Van Diemen Scholar engine wins the 20th Formula Ford Festival.
And a very, very popular winner for all those in the crowd who'd made the trip across the channel. Mark Goosens, 5th in last year's final, but the champion in 1991. So many outstanding performances in that final, not only from the top 6, but also from Morelli and from Russell Ingall, who missed out in the end. Tommy Vejalainen battled all the way through the day. Jamie Spence, an outstanding festival debut after only 3 months of circuit racing. But Mark Goosens, he had the backing of the Van Diemen factory, but also the responsibility of being championship favourite. And he responded well to that to win the title for Belgium. Second place, Warren Hughes. Well, he was disappointed, but no need to be.
Warren, after a tough weekend, how do you view that result?
A little bit disappointing from my point of view. Obviously, starting on pole position, I really wanted to win it. I thought we had every chance of winning it. The start is what proved crucial. Mark got a slightly better start, was very aggressive, and really gave me the chop.
Mark soaked in champagne, and deservedly so, but that must have been just about as tough a race as you've had.
Yeah, it was really close indeed in the first stage, till Russell went off. But, well, that's the festival, it's always like that.
Well, what sort of pressure did you feel under in the opening half-dozen laps?
Not that much, because he tried all the time on the outside line at paddock, and I knew I was later on the brakes, and he was, there was no way he could go through that. So as long as he kept on trying there, I felt quite confident.
What sort of plans do you have in place? Anything you can announce yet?
Well, at the end I try to go into F1, but first of all we have to make sure we can find a drive in F3 and go on to 3000 afterwards.
You'll be a force to be reckoned with in Formula 3. Well done today.
Thank you.
Individual success for Mark Goosens, but it was also a team event, and Goosens' performance helped Belgium take the Formula Ford World Cup title by 3 points from England, with Northern Ireland third.
And the race